Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for a couple minutes of grace as we segued from one meeting to another. I appreciate your time. I normally set this up in advance, but Councilman Box, if you'd be so kind.
Sure thing, sure thing. If everybody would join me in prayer. Father God, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for everything that you're giving us and all the blessings that you keep showering on us, Lord. Lord, we just honor you and praise you. We thank you for being able to come together tonight, listen to each other, work with each other, put our differences aside as best as possible, and do the things that you would have us do that bring glory to you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Roll call. Councilman London.
Present.
Councilwoman Cuellar. Here. Councilman Box.
Here.
Councilman Sims.
Here.
And myself here. At this time, we would look for the approval of the minutes from the regular city council meeting of December 19th, 2023.
Motion to approve the minutes from regular council meeting on December 19th, 2023.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd look for a motion of the payment of the current bills.
Make a motion, we approve the payment of the current bills in the amount of $173,758.35.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We would look for any professional or consultant reports at this time. Any professionals or consultants in order to deliver a report to the council? Fair enough. At this time, Mayor, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Council President. First of all, I would like to wish everyone a happy new year. Hope that you're here, so I would assume that it was a good year that you've been able to make it and that you continue to pray for the city of Irondale. And we're looking forward to some great things happening in 2024. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cover the community calendar that we have. Then I have a few other announcements, and then I have one presentation. Our first community event will be on February the 8th. Is the State of the City Address presented by Mayor James Douglas Stewart Jr. at 11:30 a.m. It will be given at Church of the Highlands. Tickets go on sale January the 8th. And you can go to www.irondale.chamber.org if you would like to attend that event. The second event that I wanted to talk about is the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Public Service Project. If you have a project, something that you're passionate about, that you would want to do in the community to make the community a better place, our preference is to be able to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King by doing service projects in the community. So we're looking for individuals to begin to send applications for that. Applications open up on Thursday. That would be January the 4th? Okay, it's open now. The deadline to apply would be Thursday, January 11th, and winners would be announced at the next city council meeting. Also, we put out a calendar, save the date for all of the events that we are proposing to happen in the city of Irondale. I'm very excited about all of the things that we have, and our primary purpose is to be able to build community, not only with inside the community, but also getting others to come and to see what's going on in Irondale. A few things that are not on the Community Chronicle. First of all, I wanted to thank our Public Works Department for doing such a fantastic job during the holiday season. I know when we first put the schedule out, there were some complaints about how we were going to pick up the trash or garbage, but thank God you don't stay in some of the surrounding municipalities that still have trash that or garbage that has not been picked up during the holiday season. I will not call their names, but you're familiar with them. They surround the city of Irondale. So I want to give a shout out to Frank Pennington, Alfred Manyfield, and the Public Works Department for doing such a great job. Although we only work one day a week to pick up the garbage on the routes that we have here in the city, we were very successful in making sure that we got up everybody's garbage. I would say that we had at least a 90% success rate in picking up the garbage. So you all should be proud of the Public Works Department that you have here in the city of Irondale. Also, I want to announce, man, I didn't even ask for that. I feel like I'm in church. Also, I want to announce that, and I think this is the correct pronunciation, but Gewen is moving their heating and air business into the city of Irondale. They're moving into the old Wells Fargo building, or the old Title building, and we're really looking forward to them coming from the city of Birmingham to be here in the city of Irondale. Also, I want to announce tonight that we are looking for individuals to serve on the Public Building Authority. And I would ask each counselor that you would identify a person in your district to be able to sit on the board. I will be able to get you additional information, or if you want to give me a call, or I can call you and we can talk about why we are going to revise our Public Building Authority that we already have in place. I mean, everybody knows that Crystals closed sometime last week, but Retail Strategist is working very hard to see if they can find a replacement, not only for the Crystals building, but also the McDonald's as well. And before I make my announcement, I had one question that I wanted to ask, and I wanted to ask Councilwoman Cuellar. I wanted to know if you have a copy of the RFP that we were going to put out for the investment advisors, because I have a couple of companies that have contacted me and they would like to be a part of the process.
I questioned whether an RFP was necessary. I actually got with the Alabama League of Municipalities to discuss it with them. They, in their view, because this is a professional service, didn't see a need for an RFP, but they advised me to speak with our city attorney about it. I did pose a question to her, and we were supposed to get together on it, but due to unforeseen circumstances, she and I have not been able to get together to discuss it. But I would be happy to get the names of those who are interested in submitting bids, if that is in fact what is necessary.
Well, I wanted to be able to see how it is structured so that everybody will be applying on the same pages.
Right.
That's why I asked you.
Right, and you were supposed to give me the additional information that I would be needing to give to those who are interested in offering their services to the city.
Getting additional information from me, because we're not going to give any of those companies the information that we currently have in regions, them to be able to take that to be able to submit bids, because that's not fair to the regions if we're giving others their information to be able to submit.
No, that is not, I understand the process, sir. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking
Sidebar.
about, he asked a question, I'm trying to respond to
I
it.
understand, but I think this is getting a little convoluted. I think we should proceed. Y'all can sort that out amongst yourselves. You're welcome.
They are here today. They provide a unique and a wonderful service for the citizens of Irondale who do not have transportation. We want to continue to support them so that our citizens can still get around who may have a handicap or disability. They do a fantastic job. To be honest with you, $2,000 is not enough. However, come to the front, and I'd like to present you with a check from the city of Irondale that was approved by Irondale City Council at the amount of $2,000. I'm gonna give you a real check.
Decades. We're very thankful for Irondale for this donation. Just to give you a few things that we do in Irondale, when I was coming before I left the office, I was thinking like some of the citizens that we provide service to Irondale. One particular couple, they go to dialysis Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We have a disabled person that we pick up and we transport them to the Lovelady Center for employment. And then we have countless people that we take to medical appointments and just simple things as if they want to just go and meet a loved one or a family member and just spend the day with. So again, we're thankful to the mayor and the council as well.
I think this is bigger than our first check.
Bring it up just a little bit on your side, Mayor. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Council President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. All right, at this time, we would look for any department heads that have a report for us this evening. Any department heads? That's good. Fair enough. We'll go ahead and get into our council member reports. Councilman London, we'll start with you, sir.
Yes, first of all, Happy New Year to everyone. Just quick, again, I want to just keep the Mines family in their prayer. They lost Mr. Mines yesterday, but I want to thank the fire department and the police chief and fire chief and everybody for locating him. He was walked away from home for about 48 hours, but they found him, but he did pass away. So I just want to keep that family in prayer as we go through this New Year's. But mine's really short. I want to bring Bert up. Can I say Sergeant? Sergeant Bert. He's one of our fire works with our fire department. We give it to start I'm gonna let him talk about it. Special first aid. Microphone over there. First aid, and Sergeant Berg's gonna be kind of heading that up. So we're excited about starting this for the city of Irondale, and he's just gonna give you a few information on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman London. I want to say Happy New Year to the council and the mayor. Hello, citizens of Irondale. I'm a firefighter paramedic for the city of Irondale. Been with them for 8.5 years now. And this has always been a dream of mine to start a CPR training for the citizens and the employees for the city of Irondale. I was doing some research and I was looking at, and if we can get just 15% of the citizens, the population of the city of Irondale, and just 10% of the employees of each business here, this can be a heart-safe community, which also would give AEDs to certain buildings. It'll make it a placard on each individual business, calling it a heart-safe community. So I would like to start the training. First, we're going to start in January with the employees, starting January the 11th and January the 18th for any city employees at the Senior Citizen Center from 1 to 4. We have 20 slots open, 19 because the first one is Mayor Stewart's. He was already asked to be number 1. So we're starting that first with the employees. We will start in March with the citizens. There will be a $50 fee. This will be every second Saturday of every month starting in March in the morning from 8 a.m. to 12 noon at the Old Shades Valley Trade Center School. We'll be doing classes there. Training will be either 2 hours or 4 hours, depending on which training you want. You can have CPR and first aid, which is a 4-hour course, or the CPR course is just 2 hours only. This will help us in Irondale's a busy city, and it's going to get growing. And if we're out on the call, the next available engine company may be several miles away. And with this training that I would like to provide to the citizens and to the employees will help with the care until we get there. So this is something that I'm offering. And if anybody's available, we're going to put up a website starting the end of this month, 1st of February. So if anybody want to sign up, all the proceeds will go to the EMS fund for the fire department. So this is a nonprofit organization. There's going to be training. We will have refreshments for anybody. So if anybody would like to sign up, just let me know. We will have hopefully have everything running good in March. Should have the first sign up sometime in February. So minimum of 10 people to have a class, a maximum of 20. So if you know anybody that's interested in the city, any citizens, please feel free. This is something that I would love to give. I'm one of the instructors. There's going to be 2 or 3 other instructors there as well. So if there are any questions, I can answer right now. Yes, sir.
Will you be able to sign up online?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to work with Lee to get it on the website so you can sign up and do a credit card payment online. It's going to be a $50 fee, $25 non-refundable fee if you cancel within 48 hours. So the first 20 people who sign up, we're going to have a 5-person reserve. So if somebody cancel out, we can get the next person that's on the reserve list, or they'll go to the next month's list. So this will be every second Saturday of every month starting in March. Yes, sir. This will be through the American Heart Association. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It will be a 2-year thing, every 2 years starting. So your next class will be 2026 if everybody signed up this year. So like I say, if we can get to at least 15% of the population, what's the population now?
13,000, almost, we'll just say 14,000. So if you can get 15% of that, you need 2,100.
So if we can get 2,100 people signed up, maybe not this year, but within this year and next year put alone, that'll put this city and 10% of each department, business, employees, it'll make this city a heart-safe community. And this would be real great, especially for other businesses trying to get in. Any other questions? Council? Yes.
Yes, sir. So the cost will still be $50 per person to the businesses in Irondale per employee?
For the city employees, the city's going to cover just the cards issue. For the citizens, it'll be a $50 fee.
Okay, and what about any businesses?
Businesses, it'll be $50 as well.
$50 fee.
Yes,
Okay.
per person. Yes, sir.
And there also might be some students, you know, you may have a child in your household that's 18 and over. It's always good to go to this training. You know, you don't think you need it until you need it. So we're hoping we can get more than 2,100, more than 15%. It's something Bert and I have been talking about for about a year now.
Yes, over a year.
trying to-
We've been
over a
we
year.
started in
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah,
21
21.
or 22, and we couldn't get a lot of things together. And we finally sat down and talked about it. We finally got it settled down and everything smoothed out.
Yeah.
So ready to start and get this on the road. And the training is basic first aid, CPR. You learn everything about strokes, diabetics, what to look for, heart attacks, everything that we do in the field is what you'll learn. Yes, sir. Sir? Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir, it is. And like I said, for non-citizens, this is something that it's just been on my heart to be doing for a long time. I've been teaching CPR for almost 20 years now. And with the thanks of Councilman London and Mayor Stewart here and Chief McDaniel, they gave me the okay to do it, so that's why I'm here. So I want to start it. So as soon as I get with Lee and we get the website started, we'll be ready to sign up and get started. Thank you.
And you also have defibrillator training. And if you look at our parks now, there are some already there. So it's always good to get trained because you never know that you might be in the park walking by, somebody pass, boom, you pull it off the rack, and you may be able to save someone's lives before the medics get there. So those are up around. I know it's in Beacon, other places.
Actually,
Ruffner, there's one, a couple at Ruffner.
actually want to speak to that too. We've had a couple calls about the one on Beacon. We've had to remove for right now to figure out a workaround. We've been having some issues in Beacon with people opening them and opening the pads. So we're trying to figure out a workaround to make, because we can't lock it up because then it's not serving a purpose. So we're trying to work with that. So if anybody sees them not there currently at Beacon, they haven't been stolen. We have them at the station. So
Yes, and that training, like I said, the CPR training will include how to do hands-on CPR, the use of the AED, all the first aid with heat emergencies, strokes, diabetics, everything that you need to know, cardiac arrest, heart attacks, everything that you need to know medically. You will learn in this training. It will help us just in case we get tied up. We have 22 square miles of interstate, and we get an accident out there, we can be locked up there for hours. And if something comes out, we don't know when the next engine company may come. We have to break off, and it'll be a while. With this training, it will help us, if you know, at least start the CPR, and then we can come in and finish up.
Siri.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Does that conclude your report, sir? All right, Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, there are three things I'd like to talk about. When will our garbage be picked up in District 3? Residents would like to know when garbage will be picked up in District 3.
Will the garbage be picked up or the trash will be picked up? That's two different things.
Right. When will garbage be picked up?
We pick up garbage every Tuesday or Wednesday based on your route.
Right. And the route for District 3 is Tuesday. And,
No, it's Tuesday and Wednesday because I get mine picked up on Wednesday.
all right. Some residents have their garbage picked up on Tuesday in District 3, and they called and they would like to know when it's going to be picked up.
They didn't get it picked up today?
No.
Well, they should have called the Public Works.
Okay, I will have them call Public
That's who they need to
Works.
call, 951-1420.
Okay, very good. I believe they did, and I don't think there was an answer, and that's why they were asking. Okay. Number two, one of the topics that we discussed at our last council meeting had to do with the posting of completed resolutions that were approved, as well as ordinances and the approved council report. And we agreed that this posting would take place after the council meeting, and I did look on the website last week. I did not see any of those documents, and I'm wondering when we can expect to see those documents that have been approved, along with the supplementary information posted on the website.
I would defer to Mayor as he would drive that department.
Yes, the city clerk was on vacation until today. And the resolution says that it would be put on the website in a reasonable time. So I'm going to assume that it'll be put there in a reasonable time.
How do we define reasonable time? Yes,
They're on there now,
they're on there now?
but we don't have a resolution for that. We just have a resolution.
I'll
for
draft
that.
one. Thank you. And last question is, I would like a current list of, we've been signing a lot of leases for city vehicles and equipment, and I'd like a current list of all the leases that the city currently has on vehicles and equipment, how much we're paying per year for each one, for each lease, and when these leases are going to expire. Can you provide me with that information, Mayor Stewart?
Yes, but I would say,
that doesn't necessarily fall under a report.
yeah, it's not a report.
Okay.
It would, because anytime I contact the mayor, he doesn't return my phone calls. So this is why I'm now forced to ask during council meetings.
Council President, because this is what she's saying about me. When was the last time you called me?
I believe I called you on a Tuesday.
When was the last time you called me, the day in the month?
That is hard to, I do
Well,
not
don't
recall,
make
sir.
statements.
It may have been the 19th,
The
Tuesday.
Point of order.
19th of what?
of
We're
December.
we're going to
Of
move on.
December.
This isn't a report, and I'm not
Right,
going to have
but-
this
but-
back and forth at this
I
time.
understand, but do know, and I have discussed it with you as well, Council President, that any time that I do try to contact the mayor, he does not return my calls. And so this is why I'm now forced to ask during council meetings.
So y'all need to work on a process for
Very good.
y'all's conversation, whether there's a CC so that a third party can
The city
see
attorney
that.
and you will receive copies.
Okay, thank
Thank
you. All right. Does that conclude your report?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Box.
Good evening. Happy New Year. No more report.
Copy that. Councilman Sims.
Same as Councilor Box.
All right. And I'm going to just say once again, happy holidays, happy new year. We're 2024, 2023 is in the rear view. So let's go, right? All right, let's go. All right. Any reports of any boards or non-council committees? Any reports of non-council committees? All right, fair enough. We do not have any public hearings on the agenda, so we're going to go ahead and skip that bad boy. We'll go ahead and get into council deliberations on agenda items only. Item number 1 on the consent agenda would be resolved that resolution 2024 R01 approves an alcohol license for Hilltop Liquor LLC located at 1284 Grants Mill Road, Suite 136, Irondale, Alabama. Mr. Doss is here to speak on it. I think it's a pretty easy one. We know where this store is. We know why it's there. They're just asking for their license. Councilman London, any questions or comments?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions. Do we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
Please.
Outstanding. Item number 2, under the consent agenda, resolve the resolution 2024 R02 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execute a master contract for public safety services with Alabama Power in an amount not to exceed $2,708.40 per month, plus energy usage costs for health and safety services within the city. I believe we saw some additional information later on in the day about that. Councilwoman London, any questions or
No
comments?
question. No question.
All right, Councilwoman Cuellar,
No questions.
Councilman Box.
No questions.
Councilman Sims.
No questions.
And myself, no questions. Do we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Right on. Item number 3, resolve that resolution 2024 R-3 authorizes the execution of a master lease agreement with the Lilly Company for a Toyota International Combustion Lift Truck in the amount of $7,686.30 per year for 5 years for use by the city, and 2, the execution of a notice of assignment and maintenance collision agreement for equipment schedule with the Lilly Company and Toyota Industries Commercial Finance, Inc., as it relates to financing of such Toyota internal combustion lift truck. We have we have Mr. Doss here. I don't know if he has anything to say about this particular item. We'll see if Chief grabs him. Greetings, sir. We just got to one of your agendas items, and I see that you got another one right behind it, so we'll just keep you handy. Councilman London, do you have any questions for this particular item? Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, I have some questions. First of all, why are we needing a lift truck?
It's a forklift.
Forklift, why are we needing one?
There's been several occasions at the Civic Center where I've had to rent one. And 1 day's rent is equal to 1 month's lease. So I think it'd benefit the city to go ahead and lease one.
Very good. So it'll be kept at the Irondale Civic Center?
Civic Center, yes, ma'am. But also, it's my understanding, talking to Frank Pennington, the Public Works Director, that they could also use one in the shop. So we would share it.
Okay. And so there'll be some trained people that'll be
ma'am.
operating, because I noticed in the lease that they
does.
wanted trained people to operate that.
Yes, ma'am. I've already got that scheduled for, I think it's the second week in January.
Okay. Let me ask the next question. What does it cost to purchase one versus leasing one?
I think that was in the package that I provided, but the forklift price is $38,995.
Right, and this lease will come out to that. And I noticed at the end of the lease, it's a 5-year lease, the equipment needs to be returned. Why would we not just purchase one instead of
That's-
getting involved in a lease when it's not even our equipment and we're having to maintain it as well? And we're needing to get everything that's required to fulfill the lease requirement. Why not just purchase it? Why are we leasing it? And then at the end of 5 years, we need to give it
Okay.
back to them.
We have three options, and that was the cheapest of the three options.
All right?
We can buy it outright.
Which would be
now,
38,000.
$1,995.
Okay.
We can lease it for $640 a month, or we can do a buyout lease where we lease it for 60 months, and at the end of the lease, buy it for $1. That's $781.86.
Okay. And this here is $7,686 per year.
Yes, ma'am. And that was on me, that I wanted to make one payment instead of 12.
Right.
Because
So what you're telling me is that at the end of this paying the $7,686.30, that at the end of that 5 years, we then have the option to buy it for $1.
No, ma'am.
No.
That's the cheaper of the three options. That's strictly a lease.
Well, when I multiply 76.86.30 per year, that's very close to this buy.
That's the price they gave me. Now
It-
we can do a buyout lease for $781.86 if that's your pleasure.
Let's see what that comes out to.
There's going to be interest involved, which is part of that
Or
amount.
you can just pay the $38,995,
Yes, ma'am.
which makes a lot more sense than to pay interest,
Okay.
even at 7,600 or the 700 and something dollars.
Okay.
We're paying interest both ways, and this other way, you just outright have it,
Okay.
and it's yours, and you're having to maintain it either way, whether you lease it or not. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Any additional comments for Mr. Dawes?
Yes, I'd like us to consider that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilman Box, any questions for him or comments?
In the lease, what level of maintenance does the lease perform?
That there's an option that they would do all the maintenance. The Toyota would do all the maintenance.
And is that included in the presentation that you put before?
Yes, sir.
So that, to me, having leased and purchased equipment before, is a pretty big factor. I know that if it's a new machine, some of it would be under warranty, but if we're looking at 5 years, the warranty may expire before then. So a lot of times leasing equipment does wind up better, especially if you have to send it back to the shop because we don't have a certified mechanic that can work on it and they're going to take care of it. So
And this is a local company. The Toyota handling is here in Irondale. It's also called the Lilly Company.
Any other questions for the gentleman? Mr. Box?
No question.
Councilman Box? Councilman Sims?
My only question is this a budgeted amount or not?
Because we extended the budget last year, so whatever the budget was last year for capital would be the same for this year. Brad, you can verify that for me.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
My comments resemble that of Councilman Box. I know when you lease something and the maintenance is kind of pre-built in, that could be a huge cost savings. So I appreciate that, pointing that out. Thank you very much for that. Do we agree to keep this on consent?
No, I just want to clarify, because this lease says that we're responsible for the maintenance.
But I also checked an option when I sent in all the paperwork.
Because I don't see where you check the option on this documentation that you gave us.
Number 3, Toyota 360 support +5. Its price is $1,199, and that's included in the lease.
1,000,
$199.
what page are you looking at? What
I'm
page is
looking
it?
at the quote, and it's on page 7. I'm sorry,
There is no 7.
page 8 on the quote.
All I have are pages 1 through 3, and then pages 1 through 3, and then page 1, which has $7,686.30. It does not say anything about this includes maintenance. We're missing that information. That's why. Yeah, we weren't provided with that information.
I think y'all were provided with just the lease. I don't think y'all were provided with the quotes.
Right, which we needed in order to make a sound decision.
Are your comments satisfied, Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes,
Okay, do we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes, sir.
yes.
Yes? All right, thank you. Fourthly, resolve the resolution 2024 R04 authorizes the execution of a lease agreement with the Wells Fargo Bank N.A. for a 2023 Manitou ATJ articulating boom lift. That sounds fun. In the amount of $18,634.51 per year for 5 years, plus a one-time administrative fee of $100 to be paid with the first invoice for use by the city. Would you like to tell us what you plan on using this bad boy for?
No, I've actually rented it multiple times
Okay.
over the past year to do maintenance with inside the building and the
Okay.
auditorium especially. Just a one-day rental is $966.26.
Okay.
Again, that is a little bit cheaper than a monthly lease, but overall, I think it would be beneficial to the city if we had our own, because there's been several times where I've rented one from Sunbelt Rental, and the day that they're supposed to deliver, they didn't show up, and come to find out they didn't have the machine. So I wound up having to scramble trying to find one because I had parts and technicians there to help me fix something, and I didn't have the lift. So I think it'd be beneficial if we had our own.
Councilman Linden?
No, okay, no.
Good. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions?
Yeah, you've answered most of the questions, and going back to that one, would you please provide me with that copy of the information? Because we didn't receive it, okay? And here again, did you look at purchasing versus leasing?
Yes, ma'am. Purchasing is $110,245. Just an outright lease is $1,671.72 a month. A buyout lease where you pay the lease for 60 months and then buy it for $1 is $2,239.87 a month. And once again, I asked them for an annual payment because I don't want to make 12 monthly payments, so I just asked for one yearly payment, and that even knocked the price down a little bit more. The lease is $18,634.51. You divide that by 12, that's $1,552.88, which actually saves us $118.84 a month, or $1,426 a year. So compared to a one-day rental of $966, you can use it multiple times in a month and pay for itself.
Yes. Now, this $1,671.72 per month, does that include the maintenance?
Yes, ma'am. From my understanding, it does.
Okay. Would you provide us with that documentation? Because the way I read what was given to us, we're responsible for the maintenance.
Okay.
Brad,
Okay.
would you give that information to Lee?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And
sir.
Lee will provide it to whoever needs to receive it.
Yes, sir.
Does that conclude your comments?
Yes, I just want to make sure that we receive that. So will our city clerk ensure that we receive the documentation that the fire marshal provides her with? Want to make sure we get that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Box, any questions for the
No
gentleman?
questions, everything's been answered.
Councilman Sims?
No questions, thank you.
And I'm good. Thank you very much for
And
your
there's one more
presentation.
question. That does become ours after the 5 years, right?
It depends on which option y'all go with. If you
Okay,
want to
which
go,
option are we going with?
that's the decision y'all have to make.
Okay,
Whether y'all want
that's-
whether y'all want to buy it outright, whether you want just a lease, or if you want a buyout lease.
Right, do we have a quote on buyout lease?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and that buyout lease, is that the $71.72?
A buyout lease is $2,239.87 a month.
That would be the buyout,
Yes, ma'am.
and that includes maintenance.
I'd have to double check, but yes, ma'am, I believe so.
The buyout seems like a much better choice. Because if we go with the 1,671, we have to turn it back to them.
Or you can buy it outright for $110,245.
Right.
From what I understand, we're just talking about the lease agreement. We're not necessarily talking about how we finish the lease at this time.
Well, and
Right
that's-
now, we're only talking about the
Right,
lease.
and that's the information that I'd like to know, because we're making a decision here. And this says here, $18,634.51 per year. If it is $2,239.87 a month, is that the $18,634.51? Or is that amount gonna be higher? That's why I'm asking the questions, because the way this is worded, it's not clear. All right? So
Okay.
if I'm gonna vote on something, I need
Gotcha.
to know what it is.
Okay. So I was looking at the lease as just a lease, not necessarily how we finish the lease. That's what I was looking at
Right,
on
but
that.
if we're looking at finishing that, this amount could change.
Fair enough. So I guess, do you agree on the lease as presented?
I agree on the lease, but I would like to know what the buyout lease per year would be. If it's 2,000, and he said he would need to check on that. So I would be much more comfortable with postponing this until we have actual figures so we can make an informed decision.
Do you have any other thing that you think might appease the councilwoman?
Not right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And I guess the question is, what do the other four of you all think?
I understand that.
If
Yes,
you all
sir.
think that it's a good deal,
We've had one suggestion.
yeah,
Yes,
I would
sir.
just say
I understand.
we present it as is, and we just ask that you vote it either up or down.
I understand.
Okay.
Councilman Box?
My only question is, in most cases, when I lease something, I don't have to make a decision when
Exactly.
I lease it of what I want to do when the lease is expired. I make that decision then. And then I can use the best financial practices available to me at that time. So it's not something that we really have to have, in my opinion, right now, because things may change in the 5 years of what their program is for purchasing at the end of the 5 years.
But if it says 18 and we're not starting out with this,
We're in Councilman Box's comments.
okay.
Does that conclude your comment?
It does.
Okay. Councilman Sims? Do you have any comments on this?
No.
Okay. And my comments resemble Councilman Box's. I'm looking at the lease, not necessarily how we finish it. That's a decision we can make down the road. Do we agree to keep this on consent, or do we put it on a regular agenda?
Regular agenda,
We've
please.
got a motion for a regular agenda. Councilman London, are you good with that? We'll just put it up for a vote? Okay. Councilman Box, just go
Yeah,
ahead and put
you
it
can vote.
on regular. And then Councilman Sims, I would vote that, I would agree that we would move item number 4 to create item number 1 of a regular agenda. Okay. Finally, item number 5, resolve that resolution 2024 R05 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execute a memorandum of understanding with EFP Broadband LLC for assistance in completing the Innovate Alabama grant application and project if the city is scheduled for the grant. Mayor Stewart, is there anything you would prefer to say about this?
Know that it's just an opportunity for the city to get some free funding to be able to provide some hotspots, as well as providing broadband to the way that we could also begin to do what they call smart technology, or to be able to do cameras throughout the city.
Copy. Councilman Lennon, any questions? Councilwoman McQuarrie?
Mayor Stewart, do we by chance know how much this grant application will be for?
The grants that they've received so far for a couple of communities has been anywhere between $125,000 to $175,000.
Okay. I noticed that on the documentation that we received earlier today, I'm a little confused with, if you look at section A, the first minus sign, EF will prepare an initial design of the grant-funded project. And above it, it says, "Will engage with the client to gather the required information to complete the grant application." And then the third minus sign said, "If client is awarded the grant, EF, if you look at the second circle, work with the client to assist client in securing the grant." Well, if you're going to work with the client to gather the required information to complete the grant application, why would you then, and you're going to prepare an initial design of the grant-funded project, and you're going to prepare it to submit to Innovate Alabama, and you're then awarded the grant, why are you then going to work with the client to assist us in securing the grant if we've already been awarded the grant? I'm a little confused on that.
I'll turn it over to our city
Okay?
attorney.
Thank you.
That bullet point is in reference to actually getting the funds.
Okay, so they'll prepare the grant, submit it to Innovate, and then if we're awarded the grant, then that bullet point says they're gonna be assisting us in securing the grant. But if you're awarded the grant, how are you gonna secure it if you've already been awarded the grant?
Securing the funds from
Okay,
them.
so that should say funds?
Okay, we can
Okay.
make that change.
Yeah, see, I didn't get that. I mean, I'm securing the grant. Well, you've been awarded the grant. Why are you not gonna work again when you've already been awarded the grant? So it's securing the funds. Thank you.
Does that resolve your comments?
Yes.
Okay. Councilman Box, comments from the audience, please. At a minimum, please. Councilman Box?
No, the only thing I would say, it reads a little funny on the resolution. They resolve the resolution 2024-05 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execution a memorandum. Should that be execute?
And I think that's why I kind of reworded it in my head, but if we are going with proper rule, then yes, you would be accurate in
So we
that
don't have to
statement.
change it later.
Yeah, exactly. Any other comments on the item, sir? Councilman
sir.
Box?
I'm
Okay.
good.
Councilman Sims?
No questions. No.
Okay. And I have no questions. Do we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
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 Yes, okay. Okay. I will pause here for just 1 second. I'm remiss. I usually do some housekeeping in the very beginning. We will have an executive session after everything is done. So after public comments to the council on non-agenda items at the very end, we will move into executive session. So when you see us ask for a motion to leave council to go into executive session, we're technically finished here. If you would like to stay and wait for us to come back to simply end the meeting, be my guest, but there will be no further business taken after public comments on non-agenda items. My apologies for not throwing that housekeeping out there up front. That being said, we've deliberated our items. If someone could go ahead and approve our agenda, the form of the agenda.
Make a motion that we approve the form of the agenda.
Do you want to specify it, sir?
Yes, we're gonna remove item 4 and move it under item number 1 under new business and approve under consent items 1, 2, and 5.
Sorry, just for clarity's sake, we're moving it to regular, but it will stay number
Okay,
4.
4.
Stay-
Moving number 4 to the regular.
very good. So.
And I probably misspoke when I mentioned item number 1 of regular. Okay. We have a
So, once
clear,
again, consent agenda will be item 1, 2, 3, and 5, and we will move item 4 to the new business agenda, but remaining item 4.
correct. We have a motion. We have a second from Councilman Sims. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. At this time, we would accept comments on agenda items only. Agenda items only. Yes, sir.
Very brief.
Yes, sir.
I'm Colin Galletley, and lost everything. And I have leased cars before, and there are several variables, and it's always a debate, as this website just told me, and I knew that. But it has a lot to do with how much is used. But here's one key that I've heard some terminology, but it says right here, and that's what I had to do. end of the lease, you have the right to buy a car at a predetermined price. I mean, that price is made, at the initial contract. I heard some terminologies like, oh, we can wait to the end of the lease. But no, you have to have that predetermined price right up front, because they can charge you anywhere from $50 to $500,000. So that number needs to be in the documents. That's all I have to say.
Enough? Thank you. You got it. Any other comments on agenda items only? All right, with no other comments on agenda items, I would accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. That being said, if someone could go ahead and introduce Resolution 2024 R04.
I make a motion that we postpone Resolution 2024-R04 until we have a exact dollar amount. Right now, it's showing 18,634.51, and we've been told that we would have a buyout lease if we paid $2,239.87 per year, and that is not what this 8,634.51 is based on. So for that reason, I make a motion that we postpone it until we have clear language where we're given the three options and we can make an informed decision based on those three options.
We have a motion for postponement. Do we have a second? At this time, we do not. Yes, sir.
I would speak to have 1 second, and I guess it needs to go back to deliberation, but if we need the thing 5 times before we can get this back to the next council meeting, how much money have we spent at $900?
Restate that again.
If we need this boom lift 5 times between
We don't
now
know
and
that.
2 weeks when we can come back, well, we can't know that. So I understand what Mr. Gillespie has said. That's on a car. Having leased equipment for BE&K Construction, Brassfield and Gorey Construction, and several other places, a lease of equipment is quite a bit different than a lease from a vehicle. We do have a buyout price right now, or a buy price right now, but a buyout price is not established until the amount of hours are on the equipment for that time, if you've gone over the allotted hours, or if the lease says you don't have allotted hours. So for that point, I will second Councilwoman Quaylar's removal, but when it comes to a vote, I'm still of the opinion that we should go ahead and lease it, because if we need the thing 6 times between now and 2 weeks when it comes back, we spent $5,700.
Copy that.
We could call a special.
We're
council
going to
meeting.
go ahead and we have a motion on the table that needs to be dealt with. We have a motion. We have a second.
Yes.
We'll just go ahead and for clarity's sake, we'll do a roll call. Councilman London as presented to table or postpone.
No.
Okay. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes, with the understanding that we could call a
Fair
special
enough.
council meeting.
Thank you, Councilman
Don't have to wait
Box.
till the next council meeting.
Councilman Box?
I vote no.
Okay. Councilman Sims?
No.
And I vote no for a postponement. Would anybody else like to represent this item?
Make a motion, resolution 2024-R04 be approved.
We have a motion. I'm sorry, legal has put her hand up.
Y'all could amend this resolution to reflect, I can't remember exactly what Brad's number said, to say in a maximum amount of 2,200, so that when Brad can go out and get that final number, and he then has the authority up to that number, basically, even though we don't have it set in stone quite yet.
Yeah.
If y'all wanted to.
I'm good with
we could
that.
approve the number.
I'm good with that. I can make the motion.
We have a
We need
motion
to
and a second
consider
now.
it. We got to consider
Or amend
that. So we have a motion on the table that needs to be dealt with that is moving this as stated. I believe we had a motion. I did not recall hearing a second. We have a motion and a second. With legal, before we move through the full piece of this, does legals, because we can always come back and approve a final amount if
Be
needed.
amended.
Do we want to approve it as stated? Councilman London? Councilwoman Cuellar?
No.
Councilman
I'd like
Box?
the amended.
No, I'd like to amend it.
You'd like to amend it? Councilman Sims?
I'm trying to remember which is which.
So we have it on the dais as presented on paper. Legal
I'll
has,
say no so we can go back. with
okay,
that.
and I will go ahead and say no as well. All right. As far as amending it, would you coach us through the
Yes.
language on how this needs to read so that we can consider it and put it back on the table?
What's the number that you have from
26,
or
870.
if you were to lease to purchase in 5 years, what was that monthly payment?
$2,239.87 a month.
Mhm. It's 26,878.44 per year.
And so the resolution would just be exactly as it states now, because you're still entering into a lease, except for you change the amount to,
Can we just say 27,000 and it'd be close enough?
yeah, in a maximum amount of $27,000 a year. And then if Brad gets back and it actually works out that it's cheaper to do just straight lease, he has an authority up to that.
Thank you.
I like it.
So I think
Yes.
well, I'll let you.
Do we have a motion to represent this as stated from legal with an updated yearly payment?
Motion to represent as stated per legal for the dollar amounts as they exist, but giving a maximum dollar amount to adjust or to move up to if required.
Does that clarify the
27,000.
motion well enough?
I would state in your
Yeah.
motion what the maximum amount.
I make a motion that we amend Resolution 2024-R-04 for the amount to be paid in 5 annual payments is no more than 27,000.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion, second. I'm getting a pause indication from Councilman London.
Discussion. I like to get Brian, make sure he understands what he has.
Okay, that's fair. That's
it.
fair.
Say what he
Um,
has.
Do you understand what we're stating?
You're wanting to do a 60-month lease with the option of $1 buyout at the end of the lease with an annual payment not to exceed $27,000.
That's correct.
Okay,
So you good with that?
Yes, sir.
okay. We have a motion. Okay.
So that's still going to include maintenance, leasing.
That's my understanding.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll double check.
You'll double check that before we make a decision.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because that might, if the maintenance is not included.
I agree. That's a strong selling point. So, okay, so you're good. We've got a motion and a second. We'll just do a roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Motion passes. All right. That finishes up all the deliberation on our agenda this evening. At this time, we would take any public comments on non-agenda items. Yes, sir.
John Bavone at 1296 Shades Terrace. At the December 19th finance meeting, the occupational license fee reduction was stalled due to no solution in the city's loss of revenue. No one agreed with Councilor Cuellar's solution. I have a solution. Cut the fat in spending to offset any short-term revenue loss to attract new businesses, meaning new revenue. Examples of such fat. You passed an unnecessary additional city holiday. You hand out discretionary funds like Halloween candy, lately to a nonprofit who supports China owning land in Alabama. You approved the sole source contract to Kemp that will exceed $1 million in 30 months due to annual increases. You gave a $20,000 pay raise, 67% increase to the mayor's second position. My career was spent as a manager in public service. Would have been fired if I allowed a sole source contract. Ditto for a 67% pay raise to a manager. You told Councilor Cuellar to have a finance meeting first. At the mayor's suggestion, I contacted 8 major businesses, all against this fee. Not a surprise. And what a domino effect. I've been on emails where others want this fee removed. Your power to continue with this fee has negatively affected Irondale business community. Serve the people, those on minimum wage and back-to-work retirees who need that $15 per month that you take from their pay. Don't serve your tax and spend habits. To the 4 of you, agree with Councilor Cuellar, place this issue on the next agenda for a vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on non-agenda items? With no other comments on non-agenda items, I'd ask for motion to move into executive session.
Motion to move into executive session.
Motion and a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.